Hello and welcome to my Lockdown 2020 session for Affinity. My name is Julien L'Hermet. I'm a French graphic designer, and in today's session we are going to see how to create this brochure using Affinity Publisher. You can download it by going into your description link, and once you do so, you will receive a zip file. Unzip it, and then inside you will get this readme text that I want you to open right away, because you need to install the 3 free fonts here in order to keep the brochure clean, otherwise it's going to be all broken. So download them, install them, and then you can open your brochure inside the item folder. You may have noticed we have an assets folder right here. It contains the pattern and the placeholder image, but more on that later. For now, let's jump back into Affinity Publisher. I'm going to press Tab on my keyboard to reveal the whole interface. And this brochure is meant to be printed, so we want to make sure that there are a few settings that are set up right. For instance, we want to be in very high quality, so 300 dpi for the definition is perfectly fine. Another thing is the image placement is set to linked, and this is a setting that will enable us to go back and forth with a printer or someone we are going to work with, a team. For instance, embedded will embed all your pictures inside your document. So no matter what you do, every time you will save, your picture will be embedded into your document. It will be quite large, but they will always be there. But if you link them, they will not be inside your document. They will be inside a separate folder, like me here in the assets folder. And this is because if I want to send this brochure to my printer, I will need to send both of those folders the first time. And the second time, if I just correct some typos on my document or some elements besides the pictures, I will only send him the brochure file, which is only 3.2 megabytes, as you can see here. So it's quite light and easy to go back and forth. Very portable, let's say. So the next thing I'm going to check is that my color space is CMYK and not RGB for screens and displays. And finally, that I insert a bleed. In here we put 3 millimeters, and the bleed is to avoid any problem. So for instance, on this document, you can see there is an outer frame here, and this outer frame is the edge of your document. This is the trim line. It will be, everything will be cut here, and this will be your final document. But we create a bleed in our publisher document to avoid any problem after the printing, because when they will cut to this line, they might not cut perfectly, and you might end up with something like this. As you can see now, if they cut a little before, I exaggerated on purpose, but you will see a white line and you will see some messed up things happening. So in order to avoid all of this, do not stay on the edge of the document. Go into your bleed, because now no matter if they cut 1 millimeter before or after, it will be always looking fine. There is also something here. I'm showing you the grid by pressing W here on my keyboard, and there is a purple frame here, and this purple frame is what we call the safari hair, but also it's the margins you have on top, bottom, left and right. And those margins are here to make sure that you leave some space for instance, when you will put your fingers on the brochure and start to open it, you don't want to hide any important elements such as the text. So that's why we put always, as you can see, a margins here to avoid hiding it with your fingers, or also to be more pleasing to the eyes. So, and here we have a grid, as you can see. So I'm going to go to my master pages to show you the grid. So for that, you go to View, Studio, and here you have all your panels. So I'm going to choose my Pages panel. I closed it actually. I'm going to reopen it here. And now you have two sections within this panel. the master pages, which are models you can apply to any pages and multiple pages. And you have your pages. So we can see we have 10 pages. And I've created 4 master pages. You can create as many master pages as you wish, but you will have a number of pages that you will set. So let's choose the small master page. And I've set up this grid using the view guides manager right here. So you remember here we have our safe area within those edges, which are the margins. And here I can set my margin, the inner margins, which are on the left of the right page and the right of the left page. So this is the full spread. The inner page are in the middle. The outer page are on both sides. And then the top and bottom margins. So I've chose a 12 column grid here. You could choose to put this down. It's up to you. And as you can see, if I choose the style here to filled, I'm going to see my columns a little clearer. And I want to show you the gutter in between each column. And you can set that also right here. And this is it for our green grid system. You can also add some guides if you want to complete your grid beyond the margins, because if I close this and I press Command and semicolon, I'm going to hide my guides, because the guides I place them manually myself. So this is what I originally had, and then I created all my guides. So using in my view guides manager, this is where I created all my guides and placed them onto the page to create my grid system. It's easy to do so. You just go to Command R, press Command R, reveal your ruler, and then you just press and hold, click and hold, sorry, to create more guides. I locked them. So let's go to View, unlock the guides, and now I can create guides and place them wherever I want. I'm going to undo that and lock my guides to make sure they are always in the position I want. Because once you set up your grid system, you don't need to touch your guides anymore, so you can lock them. So now, what we're going to do is, what are the master pages for and how we can create some really cool layouts using the master page and apply them onto our pages there. So let's create a first layout. I'm going to place some picture frames here, and the picture frames are here, and they are used to create a container within which you are going to place your pictures. And then you can set some settings in the properties of each of them and make your pictures goes either like you can see here, right click, frame properties, scale them to max, to minimum, or to stretch. We're going to see that just later. And now I'm going to place a text frame right here. I'm going to follow this line here. So right here. And now what I'm going to do is press Escape, then press V, and I'm going to just duplicate this. I hold down my Option key on my keyboard and Shift to make sure that I go straight like that in this axis, and I'm going to stop somewhere here. Alright, now I'm going to place my title and subtitle. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, and I would like to reveal my baseline grid. So for that I'm going to go to View and Show Baseline Grid right here. And the baseline grid is a grid that enables all your text to follow all those lines. So it will always have the same space between all your text, in simple words. So I'm going to create my title here, something like this. I'm going to make it a little tighter, and then another one right here by just duplicating like we did before. Alright, I'm going to hide again my baseline grid. I can also hit Option, Command, and apostrophe. This is a keyboard I set up myself, a keyboard shortcut I set up myself. You can do so by going to the selection tool here and preference, and now you have a new window that's going to open, and you go to keyboard shortcut and select which menu it's in. So it was in view, and now I'm going to check where is the view show baseline grid here, and you can set up your own keyboard shortcut. So back here now, I'm going to rename all of these to make sure I'm consistent and that I'm neat in what I'm doing. So I'm going to click on the first one here and just use image 1. I'm going to copy that, and here image 2, here image 3, and finally image 4. Now I'm going to do the same for text. This one is text 1. This one is text 2. And now this, I'm going to place them a little below, something like that. This is going to be the subtitle on top. Subtitle. And this one is going to be our title. And now what I'm going to do is place my pattern, which you may have noticed goes almost on all the layouts, all the pages. So I have this pattern here, and I want to place it in kind of like that. So back to our master page, I'm going to press W, and I'm going to take another frame, picture frame tool, start here and extend into my bleed to make sure I will avoid any problem. Same here. All right. And this is it for this one. Now let's see how we can use it. So we are going to go to our page 2 and 3, and I'm going to right click on it and let's create a new layout. So we want 2 pages after the page number 3 right here, using our small master page. I'm going to hit OK. And now what I want to do is populate all of those frames. So as you can see now, we have a layout pages that are using this master page. If I press W, nothing is visible yet. So I'm going to populate my pictures right here. And for that, we can use a pretty great tool that Affinity placed directly inside our interface, and it's called Stock. This is gathering a collection of 3 websites that are offering free images, free pictures that are licensed with the Creative Commons 0, so you can download them and do whatever you want with those pictures. You can credit the author or not, it's up to you. So it's really convenient for us. So I'm going to input here luxury, and just by dragging and dropping my picture onto my frame, I can create like this my layout very fast, very efficiently. So as you can see, I can see the author, few information, and the size of my picture. Now we have several options on this frame. As you can see, this is the frame of the picture. If I double click on it, this is the picture. So the picture is much higher, but we filled it the entire, the maximum. So that's where you go here on the frame, right click on it, frame property and scale to max, and that's why we have the maximum pixels into the frame. We can choose also to scale to minimum fit, and now we have all we have the minimum fit inside. Everything is inside the picture, the frame, and we can also do the stretch, which stretch the entire image, but it doesn't work for us. I'm going to go to scale to max fit, and now I'm going to continue. So another picture, let's take this gentleman here and drag and drop. And another picture, maybe this one here, again, picture of watch. and we're going to take something like this for this frame. Okay, with all our image placed now, if I press W, I can see my picture are all well. I can hide away my stock panel, and I'm going to populate my text. So I'm going to start with the subtitle here. So instead of just writing, for instance, subtitle, as you can see, I'm writing my subtitle, but it's centered. The font is not the one I want to use. It's not big enough. There are a few problems. So what I could do is go to my text right here and start to choose like a bigger font, a bigger size. I could choose to be italic, and so on and so forth. Or what I can do, I can go on like this, and then when I'm satisfied with it, I can create a text style. So if I go here to text styles, you can find this by going to View, Studio. This is where you have all your panels. And go to text styles. And right here, I can see there are 3 little icons. So these are all my styles. You have paragraph styles for paragraph, and you have character styles. So here we have paragraph styles and character styles. And these are the group styles. So I'm going to, for instance, create a style for this one. I'm going to make a color also. Actually, what I'm going to do is go back to this one right here, and I'm going to click on adding a style, a character style. I'm going to press style, even though I'm not done yet, but I could go directly into my style here. So I'm going to call it my style. And then I'm going to choose, for instance, a color. So right now it's gray. I could choose, for instance, some pink, and so on and so forth. So if I click on OK now, and if I choose my style, all right, let's go down there. Here, I clicked on it, and now you can see my text is using the style I just created. So now if I go to the other box and I create title, if I want to add the same style, I can just click on my style here, and there we go. So now we have a style for the text. This is extremely time-saving, because instead of always going into your character and paragraph style to create the same thing every time, so you avoid repeating tasks by just creating text styles. So it's pretty good for that. What I'm going to do is steal my already done text styles here, copy and paste, and as you can see, it's taking the whole style. And I'm going to do the same here, copy and paste. It's overwriting my style. It's hidden, so I'm going to go back to my master page and extend that box a little bit, that frame, and go back to page 4 and 5. And now it's all set. I'm going to populate my text, same here. I'm going to steal it from here, so I can get the whole style. I don't need to worry about if it's going to be fine or not. And what we can see here is we have a little problem. There is a little icon that's appearing right here. And this is telling us there is a overflow on the text. You can also see it here at the bottom of your screen. And this is an alert. And it's telling me I have one error. This panel you can reveal it by going to View, Studio, and Pre-Flight right here. Or you can double click here when you see an error. And it's showing me now that my text is overflowing here. So just to give you a word also about this panel, you can see your errors or everything that you want to see that's going on your document, warnings and errors. You can choose to see them live, or when you export a document, or never see them. You can click on the button check now when you click on never, so it doesn't bother you. And you can also create your own profile like I did here. So by default I will have much more problem because I'm using the filler text. When you go to text insert filler text. This is what I'm using here, and of course it's not in any language except Latin, but it doesn't recognize. It recognizes it as English, and it's creating me a lot of problems. So what I did is I created my own profile by going to Edit Profile, and then here I chose to ignore some errors. And once you've done that, you can see if I double click on it, for instance, if I go on another page and I double click on it, it's going to bring me to where the error is. I'm going to hide that panel now. And what is happening is the overflowing. So I can see the error here, but what I want to do is not to change it on this page. I want to change it to the master page. So next time I use this master page on another page, I will not see that error. So I go to the small master page here, and now I'm going to take this box, and here we have a little triangle here with the link icon up here. I'm going to click on it and select another frame. So I can choose any text frame, not picture. As you can see, it doesn't work for the frame picture frame, but it works only for the text frame. I'm going to click here, and already I see a line that's appearing, and that's going to follow my frame, and it's telling me that these two boxes are linked. I'm going to go back to page 4 and 5, and now it's populated. So I still have an overflowing text. This is because I have too much text. Now I'm going to remove that manually, and there we go. Now I'm going to place my pattern here. So for that I'm going to click on it, and same, Shift Command M, or I could have gone directly to File and Place. Now I'm going to go to the pattern folder and choose my light pattern. Open. And same here, Shift Command M, light pattern, and Command. Open. So now I can see that my pattern is very small. The scale is not right compared to that. And this is because when I created this pattern, it was meant to be the whole spread. So it will always look consistent. So I'm going to do the same. If I click once, I can see my frame, but if I double click, then I can see my picture. And as you can see, if I go outside of my frame, it's just not showing. So what I'm going to do is press W and make it the whole spread, extending it into my bleed, and now it's showing properly. I'm going to do the same here, double click. Okay, something like this, and here. All right, and now my page is all set. So we can do something interesting here. We're going to create a new layout, but instead of creating a new page and a new layout, what we're going to do is use the Smart Master Page feature. So I'm going to go back to our small page here, master page, press W, and right click on it, and this time I'm going to also duplicate it. And I'm going to rename it by going to the small master page, double click on it to select it, right click, spread properties, and I'm going to call it 2. And now I'm going to use exactly the same elements. So what I will do is start to change the layout around and create an entirely new layout using the same elements, because I might need to use these elements throughout many pages. So let's just use this one here. I'm going to extend them. My pattern, I'm going to extend it bottom and right. All right. Now my text boxes, I'm going to place them here, like that. Maybe even like this. All right. And my pictures, I'm going to do a pretty basic layout, like this. And move my pictures around like that. Okay. Now the layout is completely different. So we have the small 1, version 1, small 2, version 2, and I could go on like this and do other versions for more layouts. So once I create them only once, but I could apply them to many pages. So one smart master page can be applied to several multiple pages. So it's again a lot of time saved. So let's go back to page 4 and 5. And now I'm going to take this newly created master page and just drag and drop onto page 4 and 5. And look at that. Everything changed in one shot. I didn't need to intervene to anything. So if I had more like this, so for instance, another page that used the same elements, I could do the same, create a new smart master page and drag and drop onto any pages, and it would change automatically the page, the layout composition. So very good feature, very useful, time saving. And I want to show you another thing here. And we're going to create a new page, a new layout. We're going to go to add pages. So two page after page 5 here, using medium master page. I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to select it, double click, hit W, and now I'm going to insert a text box, text frame. I'm going to select it here, place it here, like so. And same, I'm going to steal my text somewhere here, copy, and paste. And I would like to have the whole box being filled by text. So for that, I'm going to delete this. So now the text style is still inside, embedded into it. I'm going to text, insert, fill a text. So what I want to show you is how we can follow a shape, how the text can follow a shape using a picture. So I'm preparing this. All right. Now let's import here a picture. I'm going to select a PNG, and this time I'm using this because I don't want a frame box. It's not going to work for this. So here in my assets folder, I would like to grab my PNG file picture. So what I'm going to do is, in my asset folder, because they are linked, I'm going to place them directly inside. And now I have my PNG file and my JPG file that I prepared earlier. Now I'm going to go to my import image here, click on PNG, and then open it. And I'm going to place it somewhere here. Okay, let's say here. Perfect. Now I'm going to move it away, like so. And in my layers panel, right here, you can go to View, Studio, and Layers, which are here. And what I want to do is to place my picture just below to show you that the text is above this image. I would like it to follow this curve here. And for that, I just select the picture, and because it's a PNG, it's going to be very quick. I'm going to click on this one, and it's going to ignore all the transparent pixels, but take into account all the actual solid pixels. We have several options here, but I'm going to choose tight. And already when I select it, look at your screen, how it's following the curve. But our text is almost touching the edge here, and I would like to have some space in between. And we have this little box here called distance from text, and I can add some distance here. I'm going to use 12 millimeters, and now it's clean, and we have our text following our curve here. But it's possible you may not have a picture with a PNG if it's a black background or a colorful background, and you don't want to bother and cut out the image. You could just create a custom frame by using the pen tool, and we're going to do that. I'm going to follow my watch here by using my pen tool roughly. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right. I'm going all over the watch and beyond my bleed again. And now when I'm done with this, I'm going to press W to see that I'm going to remove the picture now. I don't need it anymore. I will need the other one. I'm going to again click on curve here, and this is our custom shape, custom path. I'm going to right click on it and choose convert to picture frame. And now this custom path here becomes a picture frame, and I can place anything I want. It's going to fill the entire frame by respecting the shape here. So let's do that. Shift Command M. I'm going to place my JPG this time, open, and now we have our shape here, our image. I'm going to double click on it, and as you can see, this is my frame here, all of this here. So I'm going to move my picture and make sure I place it inside the frame, and something like this. So now, if I place again this picture beneath my text, you can see that my text is still on top of the picture. So what I need to do is to click on the picture, on the frame, and again, wrap settings, and just choose tight. And again, it worked totally fine. We have a little more space because I've added more before, but we can choose something like 7mm. And there you go. It's following our path, and we created a custom path. So as you can see, Publisher is very powerful. There are so many smart features to use that will enable you to save a lot of time in your composition. And here we have only 14 pages, but if we have like 70 pages, all of a sudden it becomes, it feels like a lot of work. But by using smart pages, you can save a lot of time by making only one time layout and just applying to all of your layers. Very time saving. Same with the text styles, as we just saw a preview how to use them. You can save your character and paragraph styles and save a lot of time. There are so many features like this. We don't have time right now to go over, but you can go to Affinity website and see their tutorials over there. They have tons of tutorials on Affinity Publisher and how to use the whole interface. I really enjoy Publisher. It's very intuitive, very uncluttered, very clean. I love the interface, and I hope you also enjoyed this tutorial. You have a great day.